Let's talk about something real, something fundamental to our lives, yet often overlooked. It's a story of resilience, struggle, and the unwavering spirit of a group of people who are the very foundation of our nation's sustenance. America's farmers. The heartland, the breadbasket, the backbone of our nation. These are the people who rise before dawn, often before the sun even thinks about peeking over the horizon, their days stretching long into the twilight hours. They work through unpredictable weather, battling scorching droughts, torrential downpours, and everything in between, their livelihoods hanging in the balance with every passing storm. And they face markets that change overnight, navigating complex systems of supply and demand, where a single shift can mean the difference between prosperity and ruin. They're not asking for charity, they're not looking for a handout, just a fair shot. A level playing field where hard work and dedication are rewarded, not penalized. But lately that's slipping away. The promise of a sustainable future for American farmers is fading. A quiet crisis is brewing, a storm gathering on the horizon, threatening to wash away generations of tradition and hard work. It's happening in the fields that feed us all, in the very places we rely on for our daily sustenance. Farming isn't just a job. It's not just a way to make a living. It's a legacy, a heritage passed down through families, connecting them to the land and to each other. A connection to the land passed down through generations, a deep-rooted understanding of the rhythms of nature and the importance of stewardship. Despite their dedication and innovation, their willingness to embrace new technologies and adapt to changing conditions, many farmers are being squeezed by rising costs and falling crop prices, caught in a vice grip that threatens to crush their livelihoods. Most of us don't think about where our food comes from. We grab it off the shelves without a second thought. Or the hands that plant the seeds, the sweat and toil that goes into bringing that food to our tables. This isn't just about numbers. It's not just about statistics and economic data. It's about real families, about communities built on shared values and a deep connection to the land, and a way of life on the brink, a way of life that's been passed down for generations, now threatened by forces beyond their control. If the backbone of American agriculture breaks, if we lose the family farms that have sustained us for so long, the whole system is at risk. Our food security, our economy, our very way of life will be profoundly impacted. So, what's pushing these resilient folks to the edge? What are the forces conspiring to undermine the foundation of our food supply? It's a perfect storm, a confluence of factors that have created a crisis unlike anything we've seen in generations. Trade disputes, impacting their ability to sell their goods on the global market, lost markets, leaving them with surpluses they can't sell and prices that plummet, and support that's tangled in red tape, making it difficult for them to access the resources they need to survive. It's time we paid attention. It's time we opened our eyes to the challenges facing American farmers. Not just with sympathy, not just with empty words of encouragement, but with real understanding of what's at stake, with a commitment to finding solutions that will ensure a sustainable future for American agriculture. For years, China stood as the single largest buyer of American farm goods, a relationship that fueled growth and shaped agricultural practices across the United States. This demand from China became a cornerstone of the American agricultural economy, influencing everything from crop selection to investment strategies. Soybeans, pork, grains, you name it. China's appetite seemed insatiable. They were buying vast quantities of agricultural products, creating a seemingly endless market for American farmers. This demand covered a wide spectrum of goods, making China a critical partner for diverse sectors within American agriculture. Farmers, encouraged by this consistent demand, invested heavily in land, cutting-edge technology, and expanded operations. They saw a bright future, driven by the promise of continued exports to China. These investments were not small. They represented significant financial commitments based on the stability of the Chinese market. They were counting on that demand to sustain their businesses, pay off loans, and provide for their families. The future of many farms was inextricably linked to the continuation of this trade relationship. The farmers' livelihoods depended on it, and for a long time it worked. The system thrived, creating prosperity for farmers and bolstering the American economy. The agricultural sector experienced a period of unprecedented growth and stability. But then, political tensions and escalating tariffs slammed the door shut, seemingly overnight. The trade relationship that had been so carefully cultivated began to crumble under the weight of geopolitical pressures. Suddenly, orders vanished, leaving farmers with surpluses they couldn't move. The market that had once been so vibrant and reliable simply disappeared. Existing contracts were canceled, leaving farmers in a lurch and jeopardizing their financial stability. Agreements that had been in place for months, even years, were abruptly terminated. The market for American farm goods dried up almost overnight, creating a crisis that reverberated throughout rural communities. The impact was immediate and devastating. Imagine building your entire business model around a single massive customer, tailoring your production to meet their specific needs. Then imagine that customer simply disappearing, leaving you with no outlet for your goods. The consequences are almost unimaginable. Farmers were left with mountains of crops and herds of livestock that they suddenly couldn't sell at a profitable price. They either couldn't sell them at all, leading to spoilage and waste, or they had to sell them at a significant loss, further eroding their already precarious financial situation. Scrambling desperately to find new markets to absorb the surplus, they faced an uphill battle. They quickly discovered that there was no easy replacement for China's sheer scale or its willingness to pay premium prices. The existing market simply couldn't compensate for the loss. The financial loss was massive, impacting not only individual farmers, but also the entire agricultural supply chain. This crisis exposed just how vulnerable American agriculture had become, relying so heavily on a single export market. Prices plummeted from Iowa to North Carolina, affecting farmers across the country regardless of what they produced. And the shockwaves of this market shift hit every farm family, disrupting their lives and threatening their livelihoods. This wasn't just a minor setback or a temporary dip in the market. It was a seismic shift in the landscape of American agriculture, a fundamental change in the way business was done. The over-reliance on one single export market, China, had created a dangerous weakness in the American agricultural system, leaving it vulnerable to external forces. When China pulled back its demand, it left a trail of devastation in its wake, impacting farmers, businesses, and entire communities. For many farmers, it felt like a betrayal of trust after years of building a strong partnership and relying on China as a dependable customer. When China pulled back, the pain landed right at the kitchen table. Suddenly, the money for loans, seeds, and even groceries just wasn't there. Dreams for the future, college funds, new equipment were put on hold. Repairs got delayed, stress piled up, and family life suffered. These aren't just businesses at risk. They're homes and legacies built over generations. Local businesses felt it too. Tractor dealers, cafes, hardware stores, all rely on farmers. When farmers stop spending, rural economies unravel. Young people see the struggle and look elsewhere for opportunity. This isn't just an economic crisis. It's an existential one for family farming. Losing these farms means losing a way of life and generations of wisdom. Picture a drone flying over farmland, fields left unplanted, not from neglect but from financial strain. Equipment sits idle, sheds gather dust, and the usual bustle is gone. Fences sag, outbuildings wear down, and herds shrink to pay debts. The land itself shows the scars of hardship. The drone's view is stark. Less activity, more silence, and a landscape echoing the struggles below. It's a big-picture view of countless individual heartaches. Meet John Henderson, a third-generation Nebraska farmer. His family's land once thrived on soybean sales to China. He invested in seeds and storage, counting on that market, until it vanished. Now, John's taking out high-interest loans just to keep planting. His wife works in town to cover health insurance and groceries. The farm used to support the family. Now, John worries it won't support his son. He's up before dawn, checking unpredictable prices, fixing old machinery. The generational dream is turning into a nightmare. John's story isn't unique. It's echoed across the heartland. These farmers aren't looking for handouts, just a fair chance. But when global markets shift and support lags, they're left exposed. John's still fighting, but the worry lines run deep. He's gambling on a future that's more uncertain than ever. The stakes? His family's legacy. Maria Sanchez, a name that embodies resilience and determination in the face of adversity. Her story unfolds in California's Central Valley, a region renowned for its agricultural abundance, but also a place where farmers constantly grapple with economic and environmental challenges. It's a landscape of both opportunity and uncertainty. Maria isn't just any farmer. She is a first-generation farmer, carving her own path in an industry often dominated by multi-generational legacies. She represents a new wave of agricultural entrepreneurs. With unwavering dedication, she built her organic fruit and nut farm from scratch, nurturing it from barren land into a thriving ecosystem. It was a testament to her hard work and vision. Maria strategically focused on targeting export markets like China, recognizing the immense potential for growth and profitability in the global marketplace. She saw a future filled with possibilities. To ensure the highest quality and appeal to discerning consumers, she invested heavily in organic certification, a rigorous process that validates her commitment to sustainable and environmentally friendly farming practices. Recognizing the scarcity of water resources, she implemented cutting-edge water-saving tech, including drip irrigation systems, to minimize water waste and maximize efficiency. Maria understood the importance of building strong buyer relationships, forging personal connections with distributors and retailers to ensure a reliable and consistent market for her produce. Then, unexpectedly, tariffs hit, disrupting global trade flows and sending shockwaves through the agricultural industry. Almost overnight, her almonds became too expensive for Chinese buyers, rendering her products uncompetitive in a crucial market. The consequences were immediate and devastating. As demand plummeted, orders shrank dramatically, leaving her with surplus inventory and mounting financial pressures. With reduced sales and increased costs, margins thinned to a razor's edge, threatening the very viability of her business. The carefully constructed financial model she had relied upon was thrown into chaos, forcing her to confront difficult choices and navigate uncharted waters. Undeterred, Maria hustles to diversify, exploring new avenues to sustain her farm and protect her livelihood. She began experimenting with new crops, expanding her product offerings to appeal to a wider range of consumers. Maria also embraced direct sales, connecting directly with customers at local markets and farm stands. She became a regular vendor at farmers markets, building relationships with her community and showcasing the quality of her organic produce. In a heartbreaking decision, she's had to let go of loyal employees, people who had become like family. It was a painful decision, one that weighed heavily on her conscience, but she knew it was necessary to keep the farm afloat. Access to capital is tough, a constant struggle for small farmers seeking to invest in their operations and weather economic storms. It's especially challenging for small, innovative farms like Maria's, which often face higher hurdles in securing loans and grants. Policy decisions made far away in Washington, D.C. have a profound impact on the lives of farmers across the country. These decisions hit her business directly and immediately, highlighting the interconnectedness of global trade and local agriculture. Despite the setbacks and challenges, Maria's determination keeps her going, fueling her relentless pursuit of a sustainable future. But the fight is exhausting, taking a toll on her physical and emotional well-being. The weight of responsibility is immense. Her story shows this crisis isn't just about old family farms struggling to survive. It's a broader threat to the entire agricultural ecosystem. It's threatening the innovators too, the young farmers who are pioneering sustainable practices and embracing new technologies. The future of sustainable agriculture, a future that depends on innovation and resilience, is at risk. Maria's battle is for her farm, a place she has poured her heart and soul into. It's a fight for her vision, a vision of a thriving, sustainable farm that nourishes both the land and the community. Ultimately, Maria's battle is for the next generation, ensuring that they have the opportunity to inherit a healthy planet and a vibrant agricultural sector. You'd expect Washington to act fast in a crisis like this. But farmers mostly feel frustration. Help is slow, tangled in bureaucracy, or just absent. Policies feel like band-aids on a gaping wound, and aid rarely covers the real losses. Farmers want stability and a fair shot, not endless paperwork or empty promises. They see other industries get bailouts and wonder why food producers are left behind. The silence from Washington breeds cynicism and a sense of abandonment. The crisis doesn't stop at the farm gate. It spreads through rural towns. Local businesses, machinery dealers, seed stores, diners see sales plummet. As incomes drop, shops close, and main streets empty out. Public services suffer as the tax base shrinks. Schools, roads, healthcare all feel the pinch. Young people leave for better prospects, draining the community of energy and hope. The social fabric frays, fewer volunteers, smaller crowds at local events. What's lost isn't just money, it's a sense of community and identity. These towns are built on self-reliance and connection to the land. As they decline, so does a unique American culture. The farm crisis is a crisis for entire communities. Maybe you're thinking, this is sad, but what's it got to do with me? Everything. Our food supply depends on healthy, viable farms. If enough farmers go under, we risk shortages, higher prices, and more reliance on imports. A strong domestic agriculture sector is national security. Farmers are stewards of our land. When they're squeezed, the environment suffers too. Supporting farmers means supporting responsible land management and food security. The family farm is part of our national identity. Losing it would be a profound loss, far beyond economics. This crisis isn't just the farmer's problem, it's everyone's. It's up to all of us to pay attention and demand real solutions.